Thanks for joining us for CBN Newswatch. I'm Gary Lane. Today, Iran again threatening Israel with retaliation for the death of a Hamas leader in Tehran, as Hezbollah remains positioned to keep launching more strikes on northern Israel. We'll bring you that story. And an up-close look and personal look at how Israelis living in the northern part of the Jewish state have been preparing for attacks on their communities. The presidential campaign of Kamala Harris reaching out to evangelical Christians for support. We'll hear what they have to say and why some Christian leaders are calling it an insult to our intelligence. And how a microchip helped find a beloved pet cat, lost for more than a decade. Those stories and more today on Newswatch.
This is CBN Newswatch.
We begin in the Middle East, where Iran is still promising to take revenge on Israel after the death of a top Hamas leader in Tehran. That threat comes as Hezbollah remains positioned to attack the northern region of the Jewish state. Chuck Holton brings us a story from Jerusalem.
Hezbollah's entrenched position in southern Lebanon presents an ongoing strategic challenge along Israel's northern border. The IDF reports daily rocket and drone incursions and continues striking Hezbollah positions overnight.
We're very determined to continue degrading Hezbollah, eliminating more commanders, and denying them assets and capabilities. We're not stopping.
Iran continues to threaten retaliatory action following the July 30th neutralization of Hamas top political leader in Tehran.
Retaliation for this crime, whether by the axis of resistance or by Iran, is certain.
As the region seems to have stepped back from the brink of a wider war, the Biden administration is continuing to push a Gaza ceasefire despite Hamas' rejection of the current plan.
The working groups are now meeting and talking, and so there continues to be progress. And our team on the ground continues to describe the talks as constructive.
Israel believes neutralizing top Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar could accelerate ceasefire negotiations. IDF troops reportedly have come within minutes of finding him, but Sinwar's evasion tactics reportedly include communication blackouts and wearing a burqa, leading some Israelis to give him the moniker Mrs. Dodgefire. As the conflict enters its 11th month, Iran has issued a warning to all airlines to exercise caution when flying over specific areas of its airspace starting September 1st, without specifying an end date, increasing concerns about another retaliatory attack sometime soon. Chuck Holton, CBN News, Jerusalem.
People in northern Israel have been preparing for a major attack by Hezbollah for quite some time. Chuck Holton went to visit northern Israel before the exchange of fire last weekend to see how communities are coping with that threat. He found resilience in unexpected places.
Residents who chose to stay here in the north remain on high alert. Still, life continues with surprising courage in Jish, a Maronite Christian community just 2 miles from the Lebanon border. Despite this area being considered a war zone by many, St. Maroon's Maronite Church is holding its annual summer kids camp, albeit with a few modifications.
Instead of 10 days of summer camp as usual, now we just period the summer camp to 2 groups of 5 days and another 5 days. For 2 groups, 100 kids each. So it's according to the laws of the Israeli government because of the war. We can't do the activities outside, or we are just indoors.
The Israeli government has put limits on the number of children that can be in one place at one time since the war started back in October, and especially now since that terrible tragedy that took place where a Hezbollah rocket dropped into a soccer field and killed 12 children in the Druze village of Majd el-Shams. That's actually only a couple miles from here. So the parents that are sending their kids to this camp want to know that the leadership is taking a few extra precautions to keep their kids safe. Despite these challenges, the camp maintains its spirit of openness and fun.
Well, one, they learn more and more about Jesus. Second, they learn how to respect each other irrespective of gender, religion, because we do have non-Christians with us. We have Muslims among us. Everyone is welcome.
The Maronites' deep connection to their land and history keeps them rooted, even in danger. The camp counselors have the job of passing on that sense of peace and courage.
So now we're going to show you the shelter. We have more than one shelter, but this is the open one for now. So from here, this is the shelter where we will put the children in case something bad or an emergency happens.
Many of the leaders are still teenagers, but they take their responsibilities seriously.
Our job is to keep them calm and not panic, because if they panic, it will be a lot harder to try and help them and go to the safe place.
Yet the constant threat is a weight these kids shouldn't have to carry.
We're so tired from this war. Running after alarm and alarm, go to the safe room. It's ridiculous. We don't deserve that. We are good citizens. We need to live peacefully. We need our summer camp back. We need our Christmas back. We need our Easter back. We need our kids back to the Sunday school, you know.
From Northern Israel, I'm Chuck Holton for CBN News.
Coming up, the campaign of Kamala Harris is making a concerted effort to reach out to evangelical Christians. We'll hear what they have to say, and why some Christian leaders are blasting their campaign when we come back.
Hi, I'm Charlene Aaron. At CBN, we're here to pray for you all year long. But did you know that each fall, the entire staff of CBN sets aside a very special time to pray especially for you? We have seen tremendous miracles happen as a result of these prayers. Please call or send in your prayer requests today. No matter how big or small your need is, we consider it a great honor and privilege to pray for you.
A major effort is underway to convince more Christian voters to help elect Kamala Harris as president. Part of the strategy involves reaching out to conservatives, but not everyone is buying it. CBN's chief political analyst David Brody has that story.
Good evening, Philadelphia.
Since Kamala Harris stepped in to become the Democrat nominee for president, she's enjoyed a wave of positive poll numbers and huge crowds at rallies. If she's to carry that momentum into the fall, however, tapping into the Christian vote could potentially take her to the White House.
The Bible teaches us so much about what we must do to be dutiful. Understanding we have a duty to our God and to one another.
Raised as a Baptist in San Francisco, Harris's faith is rooted in what is commonly known as the social justice gospel. This human rights approach centers more on Jesus' teaching of compassion for those less fortunate rather than a fundamentalist viewpoint. The quest to promote that message to Christian voters is well underway.
Vice President Kamala Harris is a fellow Christian.
The group Evangelicals for Harris hosted a Zoom call this month that drew tens of thousands. The founder, Reverend Jim Ball, the former head of a Christian environmental organization, says the group plans to reach beyond a progressive audience.
We're trying to reach out to as many conservative folks as we can.
You are?
Yeah, we try to reach out to websites that are highly visited by Trump supporters, by so-called MAGA Republicans.
You think there's an opportunity there?
We do.
The group's 200,000 members are focused mainly in swing states. They're planning to spend more than $1 million on video ads targeting specific Christian households on places like YouTube, Hulu, Apple TV, Google, and Facebook. Their first ad goes after Donald Trump.
Have you ever asked God for forgiveness? That's a tough question. I'm not sure I have. I don't bring God into that picture. I don't.
While taking on Trump could be a tall order, they believe there's an opening. Among his base of white evangelical Protestant voters, 37% see Trump as a great president. 37% say a good one. The window may be that 9% consider him average, 6% poor, 10% say terrible. Those three categories total 25% of conservative evangelicals who could potentially be difference makers. We saw that happen for Barack Obama in 2008 when he received 26% of this key group and won. And again in 2020 as Joe Biden received 24% and also won. In 2016, Hillary Clinton lost after receiving only 16% of conservative evangelical voters. If Kamala Harris can, let's just say, get over 20% or more, she's in business.
We're hoping that we'll have an historic amount this time, so we'll see.
Obama levels, maybe.
Yes, Obama levels, that's right. So we're hoping for that.
And allies are joining with them, such as the group Faithful America, which bills itself as the largest online community of Christians. Black Church PAC is also active, holding a recent Zoom call that attracted 16,000 churchgoers and raised $500,000 toward voter outreach. Then there's Christians for Kamala.
Hello, everybody. Hello, my fellow Christians.
Senator Cory Booker and CNN's Van Jones are some of the big names focusing on progressive Christians.
I always say, before you tell me about your religion, first show it to me and how you treat other people.
Her agenda is to stand for what Jesus called the least of these, the addicted, the convicted, the afflicted, the evicted.
Conservatives say evangelicals shouldn't fall for this worldview, which they believe is Christian socialism, leftist thought, identity politics, and Marxist-driven liberation theology all rolled into one. Biblical scholar Robert Gagnon calls Evangelicals for Harris an oxymoron, indeed an insult to our intelligence. And the Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission says, quote, unfortunately, the positions that Harris has our track record of supporting and advocating for would lead to a devaluing of marriage, the deaths of the preborn, and a restricting of religious liberty for people of faith. And her opponent, well, he's weighed in as well.
How any Christian can vote for a Democrat, Christian or person of faith. Person of faith, how you can vote for a Democrat is crazy. It's crazy. They've got to stop.
If folks are wondering how can somebody vote for one party or the other, I'd say, first of all, center it in Jesus' lordship, and then ask who was Jesus concerned about. And Jesus was concerned about the vulnerable. And which party is taking care of the vulnerable?
Texas State Representative James Tallarico currently is in seminary and on board with Evangelicals for Harris.
You know, when I was a kid growing up here in Texas, I remember people wearing those bracelets with the letters WWJD, what would Jesus do? And I think that's the question we need to ask ourselves when we go into the voting booth this November.
Conservative Christians often point out Harris's positions on abortion, marriage, and gender identity. Trump's campaign believes his traditional policies in those areas will resonate much more with evangelicals. Tallarico isn't so sure and wants to send a message.
Donald Trump is taking your vote for granted. He thinks he's got it in the bag. And honestly, I think Donald Trump does not represent Christian values.
That's why this effort is focused squarely on love thy neighbor when it comes to the agenda ahead. Plus, it worked for Obama.
Throughout the history of Christianity, there have been progressive Christians, those who pushed this world to more fully realize the gospel of Jesus Christ. Martin Luther King Jr., Cesar Chavez, Dorothy Day, Jimmy Carter, Mr. Rogers. Progressive Christians aren't anything new. We've been here all along.
God bless the United States of America.
The question now is, will Kamala Harris join that list? Christians, both left and right, will provide the answer in short order. David Brody, CBN News, Washington.
Still ahead, if you have to go to the hospital because you're ill, you may find yourself facing another potentially serious concern, an infection inside the hospital. We'll learn what you can do to protect yourself right after this. Going to the hospital can be an uneasy experience. Many patients and family worry about the illness or tests they're facing, and there's the possibility of getting an infection during their stay. Medical reporter Lori Johnson looks at the more common hospital infections and how healthcare workers, patients, and their families can possibly minimize the risk.
Armando Nahum knows what it's like for family members to become statistics after being infected in the hospital while being treated for a different reason. Sadly, he's probably seen it more than most.
3 members of my family were impacted with hospital-associated infections in 3 different hospitals, in 3 different states, in 10 months' time, culminating with the death of our son, Josh.
It began when Armando's father came down with pneumonia while being hospitalized for bypass surgery. Then, during a stay for a different surgery, his wife Victoria developed a staph infection. While they both survived, Armando says his 27-year-old son did not survive a sepsis infection contracted after being admitted and treated for skydiving injuries.
You always have a broken heart when you lose a child, but it doesn't matter how old the child is.
Armando's family isn't alone. On any given day, 1 out of every 31 patients has a healthcare-associated infection, leading to about 90,000 deaths per year. Bacterial infections make up the vast majority, which develop when bacteria enter the body through a surgical incision or due to a contaminated medical device like a catheter, central IV line, or ventilator. In addition to the damage to the patient, these illnesses cost the healthcare system billions.
If a patient acquires an infection while in the hospital, then it's the hospital that pays that, the insurance company, and Medicare will not.
Hospitals like Virginia's Sentara Obici constantly look to reduce the risk. For example, after disinfecting rooms, advanced technology helps ensure they got rid of the bacteria by swabbing the area just cleaned, then inserting the swab into this reader that analyzes the surface.
Anything less than 250 is a pass. Anything over 250 is a fail. My team will come back and re-clean the surface if it failed.
Another disinfection practice involves bathing the room with ultraviolet C light, which studies show can reduce the transmission of 4 superbugs, MRSA, C. diff, Staph aureus, and Acinetobacter by 1/3. Believe it or not, some hospitals now use copper to help fight infections on hard surfaces like this copper-infused overbed table, and even in linens like these bed sheets that have copper woven into them.
Copper just has natural antibacterial properties to it, so it helps kill any bacteria on site.
Opportunities to detect infections.
Healthcare workers understand the sooner a device is removed, the lower the risk of infection. So they evaluate each patient to determine whether that can be the day their device can be safely taken out. They also closely watch patients for symptoms of an infection, like fever or diarrhea, and whether they need testing. While hospitals and other healthcare settings are taking steps to minimize the risk of infection, there's actually a lot patients and their families can do too, both ahead of time and during the stay. The healthier a patient is before entering the hospital, the lower their risk. Experts say a big part of overall good health involves a robust gut microbiome. That means having good bacteria in the body, which can often fight off the bad bugs encountered at the hospital, especially those resistant to antibiotics like C. diff. Patients are advised to ask their doctor whether antibiotics are truly needed because these drugs tend to kill all bacteria, including the good.
C. diff is in all of us naturally, and if they're taking antibiotics that are not needed, it's going to kill the flora that's in your stomach that helps prevent C. diff from kind of going crazy.
Armando's experience with hospital infections motivates him to help others.
Ask a lot of questions. Don't be afraid to ask a question, and certainly don't be afraid to ask the healthcare workers to wash their hands. It is the most important single component in the delivery of care: hand hygiene, hand sanitizing.
Yes, clean hands. As simple as it sounds, it can also prevent visitors from spreading disease.
We touch
our face so many times. We don't know what surfaces we've touched.
Some hospitals have lower infection rates than others, so do your research, and if you have a choice, talk to your doctor about which facility is best for you, or consult Hospital Compare on the Medicare website. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
Coming up, a miraculous recovery of a beloved pet cat after more than a decade, thanks to a microchip. We'll have that story for you when we come back.
Brand new way to start your morning. The CBN News Quick Start Podcast. Each weekday morning at 7 a.m., get quick highlights of the day's important news. Then an in-depth analysis that goes beyond the headlines. Insights that matter to people of faith. Discover how God is moving around the world and here at home. Find the CBN News Quick Start Podcast on iTunes or wherever you enjoy listening to podcasts, because truth matters. Download the CBN News app. One place for all of your news. Breaking news alerts. Watch CBN News Channel Live. CBN News, because truth matters. Get the CBN News app today.
A joyful reunion for a South Carolina woman and her cat, all thanks to a microchip. It's been more than a decade since Jennifer Ravenel's cat, Sam, went missing from her farm. Jennifer adopted Sam in 2011 after rescuing him, and the two became inseparable. 2 years later, the beloved cat went missing after being spooked by a dog, and she contacted the Charleston Animal Society for help. After 11 years, she got an almost unbelievable phone call from the shelter. They had found Sam nearby. He had lost a lot of weight. They scanned the chip and gave her a call. Jennifer says she never gave up hope, calling the reunion a miracle. Well, that's it today for this edition of CBN Newswatch. Remember, you can find more of our news programs on the CBN News channel anytime or online with cbnnews.com. Also, tell us what you think about the stories you've seen by emailing newswatch@cbn.com or talk to us on Facebook, Instagram, and X, which is formerly known as Twitter. Hope you'll join us next time. Have a great day.